A very good morning and hearty welcome to CIMP's HR Next talk show. Very pleased to welcome as our chief guest Mr. Raj Kumar Dubey sir, who is Director HR BPCL presently and also serving as the chairman of Indraprastha Gas Limited. Sir is widely known for his contribution towards driving HR transformation, especially in talent management, HR analytics and employee wellness. Welcome sir to CIMP and to our HR Next talk show.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here. Yeah.
So you've led large-scale organizational development initiatives across more than 400 locations. So what have been the leadership principles that have guided you in driving transformation across such a large and diverse sector, workforce or team, I can say?
It helps if an organization of a caliber of Indian Oil and caliber of Bharat Petroleum, which have a long history of providing leadership not only to the company, to the entire energy sector. So there was a time when 6 of the CEOs were from Indian Oil. So that is the first thing, where you have a set of values and where you want the entire leadership to align to these values. And therefore, all the interventions which we have are centered around these values. The leader should exhibit. And yes, if you look at the landscape of this, especially this petroleum companies, the two topmost petroleum companies, Indian Oil and Bharat Petroleum.
So we've heard that under your guidance and your leadership in BPCL, there have been many path-breaking initiatives in talent management. So what do you think, what in your opinion is the most important or critical element of future-ready talent strategy for companies?
Talent management in an integrated way, that has been my contribution. We have initiatives for managing talent, in bits and pieces. How all these bits and pieces come together.
Brought together.
So that has been my contribution. Then, so we have this Darwin box allows us to do this. When you look at use of AI, especially in recruitment, in L&D, it's very important. The way AI has done us good in these areas, and a very unique thing, like you have a talent review discussion, and the top management sits in, like the board sits in for general managers and above. Now the board discusses each and every individual. How would you summarize? So earlier it used to be a human intervention where some person from HR would note down what comments have been passed down about an individual and what is aspiration, how we are deciding aspirations versus the organizational need. How are we going to marry that? That's when AI helps us. You see, all the discussions are summarized, and as you can get in within seconds, you get a summarized report of that person, so that the line manager gets it and they can give a feedback based on what was happening, what was discussed at the highest level about this person.
So sir, the organizations must be having a tough time in building a workforce that is made ready or prepared for the future, especially in this AI-driven world, I think.
It is a tough task. I would, who have been technologically savvy right from the beginning. Like the introduction of ERP systems, and in petroleum companies were one of the first ones to implement them. So the technology, the marriage of technology and refining technologies are ever changing. You've got the latest kind of technologies in the refining sector. So the idea being very comfortable with technology is has been already ingrained in this company. So it has been a relatively easier affair to see that guys get introduced to a new technology and start adopting it. Especially like today in BPC, you see around 40% of people are from last 40. It constitutes 40% of our strength, and I mean it's a no-brainer to say that these guys are, as it is, technologically savvy, and they are hungry to get into this technological area.
So it is said that, as I've heard, that HR analytics has been very close to your heart. It is one of your key priorities. So for our management students, what can you say, how this using data, how is it helping HR in making more smarter and more strategic decisions?
If you don't have a proper analytic team or the use of analytics in HR, and machine learning, AI and then generative AI, if we don't have all this, it's very difficult for HR to influence people decisions, because the knowledge about people resides in that functional domain, the functional heads, and HR has lesser information than the functional heads about people. So the ability of HR to influence people's decision is that much less. But we have this analytics and we have this artificial intelligence. If we use that, we get tremendous amount of data at your fingertip, and the data which is actionable. Right. And then suddenly you have more information about people, how they're performing currently online, how they have performed 20 years back, 10 years back, their levels of performance and levels of performance relative to other people. Now this is a massive kind of information. If you really want to look at the data, it's impossible for you, and that's why HR was behind, influencing people's decisions. Now that you have all that, now suddenly you got more information than the function about a person, and so much to influence people's decisions has come to HR now. HR starts using this technology. A God-given gift to HR at least, that it will be able now to get into an organizational dynamics and look at bigger issues about people, rather than only restricting ourselves on recruiting and payroll and those kinds of things.
So you are very well known for bringing customer-centric mindset into fuel retailing, sir. So what lessons can you give to our students? How can they learn to stay connected with customer needs, aligning the people's practices with business operations?
Again, it's a no-brainer. If you are in this business, what else can you do other than being customer-centric first? But the legacy of a petroleum companies, so more the reason that specific interventions are needed to change that mindset. That customer anyway comes, and it's a need of the customer to come to a petrol pump or to get an LPG connection, and all we do is to concentrate on supply and distribution, and the customers would come anyway. Okay. From there, from that mindset, to get into a competitive mindset where the customers would come to you if they are happy with you. And this involves not only the employees, it involves a huge number of dealers and distributors, the channel partners, who have been used to being, to thinking in a monopolistic mindset. So that has been a big challenge. And the kind of efforts that we put in, aligning people to look at the customer first and then design all your policies accordingly. It has been a challenge. It has been successful, especially when I was leading in UP state. And that's what the second part of my idea is, that we should be a brand where people aspire to join, so that their physical health and mental health and their monetary health, all these three things will be taken care of.
They're all integrated into the work life.
Yeah.
Okay. So people above oil is the tagline of Mr. Raj Kumar Dubey, and this speaks about his success in his organization. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.